Hello everyone, my name is Anand. So, after reading the disclaimer, I welcome you all to my channel. Today's topic of video is how to show blank values as 0 in Power BI Matrix Visual. So, this will be our workflow, which is split into 4 chapters to find the solution of the problem. Timestamps of the chapters are given in the description below. To start with, I will firstly import the sample dataset into Power BI and then show you how the problem occurs while showing blank values as 0 in Matrix Visual. Then I will show you how to approach the solution in a systematic manner, along with some extra conditional formatting tips in the last chapter which are optional. With this said, now let's move on to the first chapter, which is importing the dataset. You can see here that I will be performing 2 actions here, which are making a pivot table from sample dataset in Excel and then loading that file into Power BI desktop application. So, here is my sample dataset, which is showing department-wise dashboard user data. Now, let's make a pivot table, which I would be making in Power BI desktop application further. Now I want to make you all to notice one critical point here. When the pivot table is ready, that Excel pivot tables are also showing blank values instead of showing it as 0. Let me do some formatting in this table by enabling all the borders and then centerlining the text vertically and horizontally. Further moving on, I will rename this worksheet from Sheet 1 to Pivot Table to be made in Power BI. Oh, I think that there is a word limit for the worksheet name. So, I will clear the previous name and then rename my worksheet as Make Table in Power BI. Saving the changes in Excel, now I will switch my screen to Power BI Desktop. Here I will click on Blank Report. After that I will click on Import from Excel. Click on Book 1 and then press on Open. Tick the worksheet name dataset under Book 1.xlsx. Click on Transform Data to navigate to Power Query Editor. When Power Query Editor loads, then check the Change Type step and change the data type of the column named Number of Users from int64.type to Type Number. After doing this, finally click on Close and Apply. Now you have successfully loaded the data into the data view. Now let's move on to the next chapter. In the second chapter, we will discover the problem statement. Before moving on to that, I will first make a department slicer using the advanced style slicer visual and then move towards making the matrix visual. Now let's select the button slicer in the visualization pane. After that, I will expand this till the width of the page. From the data pane, I will drag and drop the department column in this slicer. Now I will give some formatting to this slicer. For that purpose, go to Slicer Settings, disable the single select option to enable users to multi-select. Right after this, navigate to Layout section and select Single Row from drop-down. For maximum no of cards to display, enter a large number like 100. Power BI will automatically pick the maximum limit of buttons. Ensure that overflow style should be continuous scroll. Navigate to Layout section, change the style to table. Expand the callout values section. Here I will select the font style as Times New Roman. Increase the font size to 14. Adjust the height of the visual a little bit. After that, go to Title section under General tab and select Times New Roman as the font style and increase the font size to 16. Bold the font size. Now, choose the background color as dark blue and centerline the text horizontally with text color as white. After then, go to the Values in Callout Values section. Bold the values and centerline text horizontally. Choose the layout as cards to give some padding between title and buttons. In General tab, go to Title section and enable Divider. In Properties section, change the width so that it fits across the width page completely. Under Effects section, make the visual borders enabled. We can now see that the borders of the buttons are missing. To add borders, go to Button sections and change the color of borders to black. Moreover, to add a functionality that when I hover over the button, it should appear with a black background fill. To achieve this, navigate to Callout Values section and select the state as hover. Give the text color of values as white. To change the background of the buttons in hover state, go to Buttons section, select the hover state and give the fill color as black. Now I will finally make the matrix visual. Select the matrix visual from the visualization pane. I will drag the fields of person into rows, dashboard into column and sum of number of users into values. Now I will adjust the vertical position of the matrix visual by navigating to Properties section. Enter 96. To change the height so that it fits same as the page, enter a large number so that PowerBoy will adjust accordingly to match the page height. After that, I will increase the width of the columns manually so that it looks visually appealing. After that I will go to Visualization pane, select the style as minimal. Select the color more darker for horizontal grid lines and increase the width of the grid lines to 2. Enable the vertical grid lines and change the color to a more darker one and make the width as 2. After that go to border section and choose the darker grey color. Now, make the width as 2. Go to value section, choose Times New Roman as the font style and increase the font size to 12. After that go to column header section, choose the font style as Times New Roman and increase the font size to 14. After that change the font color and horizontally and vertically align the column headers. Disable the auto size width so that width does not get changed automatically when new entries are added. Go to specific column section. In sum of number of users, check all the boxes and horizontally center align everything. Go to row header section, select the font style as Times New Roman. Change the font size to 12. Center align horizontally and then collapse all the categories. Then go to column grand total section, select the background color as black and text color as white. Select the apply to labels. After that, go to row grand total section, select the background color as black and text color as white. Enable the apply to label. Adjust the width of the columns manually so that it is spread across the width uniformly and looks visually appealing. Click on the number of users, change the number of digits after decimal places to 0 so that there are no zeros after decimal as all are whole numbers. To check whether the data is displaying precisely, I will check int able view that how many distinct values are there. So, there are 12 distinct values. Let me count in matrix. There are 12 values in matrix. Hooray! That means the data is displayed correctly in matrix visual. My column headers needs to be displayed in black color. So I will change the color to black. Background of the table needs to be black. So I need to navigate to General tab and then Effects section where I will change the color to black. I want to adjust the height of the matrix visual to eliminate the extra gap. So, I will adjust the height manually by decreasing it using scroll bar of mouse. Furthermore, change the width to 1280. Now, change the height of the page to remove the blank space in the page. Now, I think it is fitting correctly. Finally, I will go to View tab and select Fit to Width. Now, we have arrived to our problem statement which is clearly visible that blank values are not displayed as 0. Somebody can suggest a solution that a measure might solve this problem. Let's proceed by removing the sum of number of users from matrix visual and then make a measure by storing the sum of number of users to a variable named result. Now type return following an if statement stating a condition that if result is equal to blank, then display 0 else the result itself. Press enter to finalize the measure and drag the measure to the value field of the matrix. Now, change the number of digits after decimal place to be 0 as every value here is a whole number. Navigate to the visualization pane, then specific column section to centerline all the values horizontally. But, the problem remains the same that blank values are not displayed as 0. The solution will be discussed in next chapter. So, I welcome you all to the third chapter which is solution of the problem statement. The main problem which is not even solved by the measure is that it cannot target the blank values in matrix visual. To target the blank values, I will use dimension tables containing unique values from the column and connect them with the fact table which is data set in our case using one-to-many relationships. Let's initiate by making a department table which would be containing unique values from the department table and the blank values would be removed using filter function. Similarly, create the same tables for person as well as dashboard. Remove the department field from the department slicer and then drag the department column from D department table into the slicer. In the matrix visual, Drag the new formed person and dashboard columns from dimension tables. Now try to establish one-to-many relationships between fact table, which is data set in our case, and the dimension tables, which are D person, D department and D dashboard. Now you can see here that department slicer is not filtering and removing out the blank values as they are now replaced by 0. To do this, navigate to Filter pane from View tab and select is not and then type the value as 0 and press on Apply. Now, check the department slicer is working up to the mark. Hooray! We have shown blank values as 0. This is an optional chapter and the last chapter of this video. Here, I will give conditional formatting to my matrix visual. Click on the drop-down type icon of measure in the matrix visual and then click conditional formatting and then background color. Select rules and define rules. First rule should be that if value is equal to 0, then its color should be red. Second rule should be that if value is greater than 0 and less than a very large number, then color should be green. Similarly, apply conditional formatting for font color. Select rules and define rules. First rule should be that if value is equal to 0, then its color should be white. Second rule should be that if value is greater than 0 and less than a very large number, then color should be black. At last, apply conditional formatting to include icons. First rule should be that if value is equal to 0, then icon should be a red colored circle. Second rule should be that if value is greater than 0 and less than a very large number, then icon should be a green colored circle. At last, your beautiful matrix table is ready. Thank you everyone to watch this long video till end. Hope your doubts are cleared. Challenge me with some more difficult questions. I will make a video on that.